Listen, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for staying after our production of Somewhere. I hope you enjoyed it. It's great to have this company of artists here at Hartford Stage, and to have Matthew Lopez as part of our artistic family here. But we produced his play, The Whipping Man, a few years ago. He was a playwright in residence. He's now brought us Somewhere, and next year we're producing his newest play, Reverberation. And he's a very, very exciting young playwright and artist. And what he's done by bringing Somewhere to our community, I think, has really been an opportunity for Hartford Stage to connect with a certain part of the population and our community here in Hartford in a very meaningful way. And so we thought this would be a great opportunity to bring together this wonderful group of panelists to talk about some of the issues in the play and issues in their lives that are related to Latinos and Latinas at work in Connecticut. And tonight we're very happy to have you all here. This event is sponsored by Connecticut Humanities through their At Work initiative right now. And I'd love to introduce Bessie Rednick, who will introduce the rest of our panelists.
It's a real honor to be here because I have always felt that the Hartford Stage, and I asked them to give me a list of all the plays by Latino playwrights they have done. And since 1974 until now, they have done 11 plays by Latino playwrights, which is extraordinary.
I was speaking to some Puerto Ricans who grew up in New York City during the intermission, and the play not only relates to me as a Puerto Rican growing up in New York City, but to all the people that I spoke about here. Specifically, I remember the clotheslines. I remember the music, the Puerto Rican music. I remember, for me, that I was born in Vieques, Puerto Rico, which is an island, part of Puerto Rico. And we had to leave, my family had to leave because the United States Navy took over that island. So we were pushed out, but at the same time, Puerto Ricans were being pulled in to New York City because there were so many low-wage work for them. We either worked in the farms in the Northeast, or we worked in factories. And because Puerto Ricans were citizens, it was easy to pull us in. But we were also being pushed out as a result of a lot of economic issues in Puerto Rico.
It's my mother. She wasn't quite as pushy as Inez, but she was very supportive. She was very supportive. But I think she always had it in her fantasy that she would have loved to have done something, danced or something. So she gave it to her children.
One of the things that I was very interested in the play in terms of the stereotypes of Latinos is that we don't care about classical music, and we don't care about ballet, and we don't care about any of those things. We are just salsa, merengue, bachata people. And one of the things I love about the play is that you break all those stereotypes. Matthew, your nephew, breaks all those stereotypes. And to me, that's such an important issue that is being raised in the play. And I don't know if that has been addressed in other discussions of this play.
It hasn't, but, well, Matthew's father's my brother, so we were raised in a home hearing musicals and classical music and, Spanish music from Spain. So we had and pop music too. I mean, it's wonderful because in the play, they have the Hit Parade magazines, and my mother always bought those magazines, and we would sing all the songs, from that magazine. But yeah, we had a very varied life in terms of what we heard musically.
Mentioned that I didn't grow up in New York, but I remember everyone in Puerto Rico had a family that had come and done the journey. Left Puerto Rico, migrated into New York without no education or very little education, no language skills, and to me, I admire them. I think that we have to look at them and I respect them because they have left a legacy, the legacy that I have enjoyed. 14 years later, I did my own journey to this country, not knowing when I was little that I will end in Connecticut. And they opened the doors to me and to many others. Those families that went to New York and struggled and lived with the cockroaches and the rats and with the discrimination, they have set a pathway to many others that came later, and those are the ones that I think that we have to think about it every day.
I was born in South America, and I came here in 1987, and I was raised during a dictatorship. So the experiences that were given to us at this play was certainly different in many ways from where I was raised. But there were many things that resonated with me that actually Alejandro reminded me so much of my brother, because my brother David was exactly like Alejandro in the fact that he always stayed home, and he always helped our family to actually stay grounded and together and be able to be where we are today. And so my brother, it's somebody that I always look up to, and I remember when I came to this country, the language issues, language barriers that we experienced. I didn't experience sort of like the language issues in the play, but in my mind, that was such a significant point that resonated time and time again.
It has to do with being in a position of power, and power means money. People who can generate the money to create the opportunities and to make things happen, so it becomes economically viable. But since the Latino community in the United States keeps growing, they're paying more attention to us because we buy cosmetics, we go to the movies, we buy clothes. We're a big market, and the more that happens, I don't know if you've noticed, but look at television. There are so many brunettes out there now. It used to be, when I grew up, it was a world of blondes. Total blondes and big. And I said, oh God, where do I fit in this world? If you look now and you see commercials, because commercials always tell you what's happening, and you see all these different families. And now the thing that I really love, you see these Goya commercials with these white families. Goya, I said, well, this is good, So I think it's been a slow process, it's been a painful process, but it's a process that continues, and I think is continuing, because the world is getting smaller and smaller, and everyone, eventually everyone's gonna be mixed somehow, it's not gonna be one here, one there. We're all gonna be in this pot mixed together making this stew, and the United States is what that story is about, and we have to lead in that, and I think it's happening. I really think it's happening. Not that it's easy, but it's a whole lot better than it used to be.